guys, welcome back to another episode of Designing the Best You. You guys are in for a surprise today. Many of you guys have been asking me so many questions, and thank you so much commenting, messaging me on LinkedIn and on Facebook about my posts, about what's going on, how to help, this whole job search thing, this whole health thing, so many different things. So thank you for that. Many people out there, coaches, consultants, business owners, don't like that. I'll just put it out there. They don't like that because they're like, this is the way I do it. This is how I've been taught. This is how I run my business. I love the feedback from you guys because what that does is it says, hey, this is what you guys need. Yes, it's about what I offer, but why offer you guys something you don't need, right? So you don't want, so you're not in the midst of and struggling with, right? And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to direct you to someone or I'm going to figure it out. I'm resourceful. That's part of my childhood traumas. I'm resourceful, okay? So, since you guys have been wanting more, I want to address all those topics in these next handful of weeks of episodes, okay? So today's episode, we are going way back to the basics. Y'all are like, we're tired of the basics. I don't care, okay? But the basics of some of the work that I do, like the work I started back in 2018. 2018, it's 2024 now, 2018. Actually, no, wait, not 2018, actually 2016. Rephrase that, 2016. That has morphed now into the company that I run today. And today's episode, I think I titled it appropriately, Dear Discouraged Job Seeker. So if you guys don't remember, before COVID, the economy started to go, right? Down, down, down. Everyone was freaking out. Oh my gosh, the job market stinks. You guys all used other words, but job market stinks. It's terrible. It's hard to find a job. Then 2020 hit and everyone got laid off and all the housing stuff and all the things we all know, right? Everything went remote, all the stuff. Everyone was freaking out. Well, guess what? It's 2024 and y'all are freaking out again. What can I say? I think I said it back then too, is things are going in cycles, right? They always have, they always will. Yes, okay, it's time for a recession. Guess what? Yes, inflation. Guess what? Yes, election year. Guess what? People always are going to like or don't like the candidates. They're always going to like what they don't like about inflation. Guys, it is what it is, okay? So what are you going to do about it? But before I dive in, okay, I'm going to reiterate this because you guys love to hear the truth, but you also hate hearing the truth. I think we all do that, right? Throughout this episode, I'm going to be pretty firm with the job seekers. Take it how you want, okay? It's always my opinion, my professional opinion, my expertise, my knowledge, my personal as well. It's kind of what podcasting is too, right? So, but I want to tell you, I'm not intending to hurt anyone in any way, shape, or form. I've always promised that I'm going to be real, open, honest, and vulnerable. And that's what it is, guys, okay? So I don't want you guys to get hurt or put off. And if you are, I want you to sit with that feeling and say, why am I hurt about this? Why am I feeling this way after Vanessa says something? Okay? Just saying. But I want to tell you as it is because most of what you guys are doing out there in your job search, you get laid off, whatever it is, guess what? It's not working. Did you hear me? It's not working, okay? So when things aren't working, do we keep doing the same things and over and over? Many of you are going to say, no, we're going to change it, but yet you don't, okay? So first off, today I am going to start off with a little letter. When I was doing some journaling a couple weeks ago, I'm like, oh, this would be good. Like kind of writing a letter to you guys as if you're opening it up in the mail, as you're getting this. You're so discouraged in the process. You've been months into this and you're like, oh my gosh, my unemployment's ending. What am I going to do? How am I going to make ends meet? So you're down, you're discouraged. So here we go. Dear discouraged job seeker, the job search process, it can feel like a never-ending battle. It is filled with frustration and self-doubt. Your confidence is waning. It's so easy to question your worth when rejections just pile up and you get a rejection before you even open your email. or when you're not seeing the progress you've hoped for. But remember, when the journey gets tough, the right opportunity is still out there for you, handpicked for you. I've been there, feeling lost, overwhelmed, unsure of what that next step is. As a reminder, none of us have the plan for tomorrow. But I've also learned that persistence, confidence, strategic networking, and taking care of a person's mental, emotional, and physical health can make all the difference. It's more than just sending out resumes. It's more than just updating your LinkedIn profile. It's more than just going on those job boards and just hitting apply and uploading your resume. It's about building connections. It's about understanding your value and being, not doing, being the person you were designed to be. So if you're feeling discouraged, I want you to take a deep breath and refocus. Your next big opportunity is right around the corner. Now, it is time to turn things around. It's time to start being you and not trying to fit in like everyone else does into those job descriptions that are put out there. It takes so much time and dedication, but I am with you every step of the way. Let's do this. Sincerely, Vanessa. What'd you think? Does that sound like you? You're like, oh my goodness, this sounds so much like me, right? Maybe you're ignoring the fact that it sounds so much like you. Maybe. I bet you're tired of, let's say you guys are laid off, or you're tired of your environment and you're sending out the resumes, you're connecting with other colleagues, things like that, but you're just tired of things getting lost in the black hole. People are busy, they forget. Your resume actually gets lost in the black hole. What if I told you that there were a couple of hidden doors that could create a new chapter for you? Like Alice in Wonderland, like you walk through that door and it is something totally different and magical. Did you know, this is straight up fact, y'all, and this data fact, this data point, that's what I was looking for, data point, in fact, has not changed much in the last decade, okay? But did you know that 75% of resumes never reach human eyes? Let's add AI to that now. They don't even have all the data points for that yet. Okay, that's depressing. When you've been working your butt off in applications, and if you guys have been following me for a while, every 6 months, I do personally apply to jobs to see how tough that is and see what that process is and how it's changed. It sucks. It flat out sucks, okay? Which, let's not even add in there. Oh yeah, let's add in there, okay? When you upload your application, or when you have your application and it says to upload your resume and it's gonna parse it for you into all the fields, and then it does it and it's like all in the wrong fields. You're like, what was the point? Now I have to go back in and really like redo all the fields. I should have just typed it in the first place. And then you wasted more time, right? I mean, if you guys have calculated what your hourly rate is based on maybe what you made at your last job or your current one that you're in, I mean, that's a lot of time. Like someone should be paying us for that, right? Well, whatever. Okay. And then let me back up here. Then you're frustrated. You're like, this is a waste of time. I see posts on LinkedIn every day. I applied to how many hundreds of jobs and blah, blah, blah. Okay. First of all, I sit there and I go, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. Second of all, I say, why did you apply to so many jobs? Like, why? Right? We think that doing that same thing over and over is going to get us the same results. It's not. Guys, the landscape has changed, okay? But here's the good news. Good news, right? Here's the shining light. 70% of jobs, okay? Now, these are average, guys, okay? 70% of jobs are filled through networking. You're like, duh, Vanessa, you've been telling me this. Everyone's been telling network, blah, blah, blah. An introvert's worst nightmare, right? Okay? Maybe not so much behind a computer screen these days, okay? It might be a dreaded word to you, or you might be tired of it. Or maybe you have been networking and you're not getting the results, okay? I've spoken about this many times over the years. Like I said, we're going back to the basics here, okay? This is one of those hidden doors you can knock on now. You absolutely can knock on. You're like, I don't know anyone. I'm completely changing careers and roles, and I want to go from engineering to graphic design. Okay, so what? I'm going to use my husband as an example, okay? He went from restaurants to journalist to reporter to radio personality to working at Chase Bank to working at a graphic design company in customer service to doing sales for an office supply company to doing 401ks to now selling porta potties. Y'all, you can even look at my profile on LinkedIn. I've done the whole thing too, okay? It doesn't matter. You can change careers if you have the skill set and if you have the attitude and you know why and who you are and why you are the way that you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what your title is, okay? I know many of you out there are like, but I need this title because it makes X amount of money. Great, everything is negotiable. Everything. Anyways, I got off on a little tangent there. But anyways, this is one of those hidden doors at networking, okay? All you got to do, right? You see all these things out there. Slide in the DMs, start talking to people. And you're like, but how do I sound like I'm not desperate or I'm not being like sleazy, right? A lot of salespeople are like, I don't want to be in that DMs because people are going to not buy from me because it's sleazy and blah, blah, blah. And it's whole imposter syndrome and all the things. But that's ultimately on you and how you think. And this is where working through past issues of emotions and environment and childhood trauma, that really helps. And that's what I help you guys do first. Okay? That's always the first step when working with me. Is like, that's what we do. Gone are the days early in my career at my company where here we're going to do resume. It's going to get through the system and it's going to get you the job and then LinkedIn and we'll work on some networking and some, interviewing skills and negotiation stuff and boom. I'm not saying completely gone are those days, but that's not what we do first anymore because guess what? You're going to end up in that same cycle and that same cycle and that same cycle. Oh, Vanessa, just update my resume. Okay, blah, blah, blah. No. Okay? That only gets you so far for so long. And y'all are still burnt out and you still have health issues and all those things, okay? But for real, okay, start by messaging people. You always want something to do. I know you guys always want something to do. So here's something to do. If you're like, I'm still not going to work on the emotional and mental part, Vanessa. Sorry. Okay, fine. That's on you. I have no problem with that. I mean, I do, but I won't tell you. I mean, yes, I will. I will tell you. Okay. But for real, start reaching out to people by messaging them. Most people, they don't respond to posts. They won't reach out to you directly and be like, oh, look it, here's Vanessa, or here's Sally, or here's Bob over here. Oh my gosh, I just found my newest rock star. And they're going to reach out to you. That is rare. Very, very, very rare. And you have to be incredibly active on LinkedIn and other places and probably have to run a multi-million-dollar company. Okay, so it's rare. Okay? Not saying it can't happen, but I'm saying it's rare. Okay? So start by reaching out, but you have to take that action first. And what this does show is this is a part of a skill, a transferable skill. This is a part of what do I want to call it? It's a skill set. Taking initiative, not waiting, right? That's like if I sat here and I'm like, you know what? I can't wait for the mailman to come up to my house and deliver me a check that's $1 million. One day, I'll just keep saying, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Like, right? I mean, I know that was kind of a silly one because I see the mailman outside right now, but like, they're not going to reach out to you. And here's the thing is you've got to reach out to them in a manner that interests them. Yes, ultimately we know it's for your benefit and the company's benefit, but what are you going to, right? We always say like, what are we going to do for them? How are we going to make them feel special? Guess what? Here's what you're going to do, okay? You're going to connect with professionals that are already in your network first of all, okay? First of all, that's the first thing. First in your network, then outside your network. But people who are in roles or fields or connected to people you know that you have an interest in, you're curious about, okay? Maybe you're into fly fishing. Maybe, and you know someone who likes that on, in your network. Great. Reach out to them, okay? That's an easy talking point. Hey, you know what? I've been on a career break right now, and I've really had an interest in fly fishing. I see you're into fly fishing. Can I get on a 15-minute call? I would love to learn more about fly fishing. How easy is that? They may or may not respond. And don't get down on the first couple, 5, 10, 15 people who don't respond, guys. It is a numbers game, okay? And most professionals are working. And so they're not on LinkedIn all the time, okay? So give them some grace, give it a break, okay? And then ask yourself too, you know what? Why am I feeling like so rejected? Did I get rejected in childhood? These are some of the questions I ask you guys. Like, why do I feel so rejected? Why am I getting a pit in my stomach? Why am I getting anxiety? Why am I having heart palpitations? Why am I now staying up late and having this insomnia because I'm so worried? Guys, fear. Oh, I won't even go into that. We had a bunch of episodes on fear in the job search process. Go look those up, okay? We talked a lot about fear and how so many of us have fear around that, okay? It's one of the, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have our basic needs: food, water, shelter, clothing. The next one is health and career. Legit, guys. Like, you're nervous about your stability in those areas. You lose your career, right? You lose your job, your health goes. You're not meeting one of those basic needs, right? Anyways, we'll start to go off again. But anyways, so connect with those professionals that you have an interest in. Whether it's their industry, whether it's the role, the company, whether it's one of their hobbies. So many people do put their hobbies on there because it does connect people. Like, reach out and say, hey, you know what? I would like to have I want to share 15 minutes at a time. You let me know when, because, right, most of you don't have a job that are listening to this or looking for your next role. So you have no interest in your current company. You're just kind of doing the bare minimum. So you got a lot of time on your hands. Okay. Let them tell you what time. Let them. Hey, what time do you have available? Is it better before work? Is it better during your lunch hour? Is it better after work? Are there certain days of the week that do work better for you? If you have to take a call on the weekend, do it. Okay. All right. Basically, this is not to get your foot in the door. I want you to be very clear and understand this. Like I tell my kids, put your listening ears on for this one. Okay. This is not to get your foot in the door. This is for you to understand, to learn, to seek out what you want. So many of us, we actually don't know what we want. We want money. We want status. We want to pay the bills. We want to take vacations. We want to have some kind of purpose in this world. But why don't you figure out why they want those things? Why are they in a role not looking for a job? What is keeping them there? How did they get there? Right? Make a list of those questions. And if you guys want lists of those questions of people who get good answers, by the way, reach out to me. That's what I do. I have this list of questions that we ask these people during what we call these like informative, I can never say the word, informative interviews, basically. You are interviewing them about their life. You're not hiring them, but essentially you're seeking out what got them hired, right? And then at the end of the conversation, you could just say, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for your time. Gosh, I learned so much more about fly fishing, about the type of person you are. And I love the type of person you are. And I really appreciate having you in my network. Is it okay if I reach out to you every once in a while just to kind of stay in touch? Because you're just a really cool person, or whatever words you want to use there, right? You never know. And someone could ask that, like, why are you reaching out to me? I really just am taking this time off of work to understand people, because when I get back into the field, guess what? I'm going to be working with people. And this is a different part of my life now. It's not my early 20s where I just want a job so I can make money so I can start building a life. I'm really trying to understand people because people matter to me. If you received that, how good would that make you feel? You're like, I do have a job. How grateful would you feel having that? Be like, I have a job, and someone took the time to seek out me, to get on a call with me and be like, my goodness, like, amazing, right? You're not like, hey, can I send you my resume just so you have it on file? You guys all do that, okay? Or, hey, do you know anyone? Is your company hiring? Like, stop that, guys. Everyone knows that everyone is looking for a freaking job at some point, so stop that, okay? So that's the first door, right? And you never know, guys. Even if you don't get anything out of that call, Think you will, by the way, you will. There could be one little tiny thing that they say, okay? Or that they say they did, or maybe just even a phrase that they said that like just sticks in your mind. Write that stuff down, by the way, okay? That could change the trajectory of how you do your job search and how you then advance in your career. They could even say like, hey, I do X for my health. And you're like, oh man, if that's what helped them do what they do now, maybe I should try that. Never know. Anyways, so that's the first door to knock on, right? Now, the second door, okay, that I encourage you to knock on as you're going through the job seeking process as a discouraged job seeker, okay, is focused research. You're like, oh my God, Vanessa, I just need a friggin' job. I don't care. You do need a job. Yes, I care about that. But you guys are going about it the wrong way. So the second door is like twofold. So it's kind of like you walk through the door and you have one path going one way and one going another way, okay? And you could do both. They're end up going to merge together anyways, okay? But the first part, let's call it 2A, okay? Just so you kind of remember, because you guys love these checklists and stuff, is to take a step back. And I say this all the time, slow down so you can get out of survival mode, because that's what you guys are all in when you're doing your job search, is you're in the survival mode. I have to get a job to pay the bills. I have to be seen as someone who has a job, whatever you're talking to yourself about. Okay, I told you I was going to be firm but gentle, okay? Is understand who you are and why you do what you do. Like research yourself. Right? Focused research on yourself. That's one of the paths through this door, okay? And some of you are like, okay, I'm a type A personality. I'm very driven. I am like, why do I need to focus on my personality? I already know what it is. I already know why I do it. You know, I do what I do because that's just who I am. Is it though? Is it? I'm going to challenge you on that. And so, you know, we've talked about this on previous episodes, both in the last couple seasons and in early seasons of the podcast, okay? But I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version. I do challenge you to go back and listen to those other episodes. Like seriously, spend a weekend listening to the episodes. But here's the Cliff Notes version. Many of you are perfectionists. You are recognition driven. You're seeking awards and you're seeking accolades. You want to be praised both behind the scenes and in front of people. Or, okay? Nothing wrong with that. I want you to be very clear that nothing wrong with that. As you can see, I have if you're looking at video, I have my degrees, my certifications up on the wall. I like looking at those because I'm like, I did that hard work. As I encourage you guys too. But also you can take it too far. I used to work at one of the engineering firms I was at, companies I was at in the engineering department. I had engineers who they wanted to put every little tiny course they took, everything on documentation. Here, can you look at this? Look at all I did this year when we do performance reviews. I'm like, I know all you did, first of all. Second of all, like, what did you do with it though? How did you apply it? Right? And so, anyways, there's nothing wrong with any of that. But here's the thing I want you guys to really understand is, why are you like that? Okay? Why? It's not just God created you that way. Okay? Do you seek approval at work because your parents didn't recognize you? Did someone along the way tell you you couldn't do something? So you're like, I'm going to show them. I know I've done that. I had actually, when we were in engineering academy in high school, I was one of the only females there, and I did things differently than even the other females there did. And I had one guy who now is, I don't want to say nothing, but he's not who he said he was going to be, tell me I would never be an engineer. Who would want me as an engineer? And I was like, let me show you, right? Why I sought his approval, I don't know, okay? We do things, we seek people's approval for certain reasons, okay? Or maybe you're tired of following processes that you think don't work, or you don't understand the whole process, and you're like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to show them by doing it my own way, or whatever it is. You have to understand that stuff, guys. Why? Okay, these are important things to uncover, because what they do is they cause hidden stressors inside our body, inside our mind, okay, and cause other issues that we stuff, okay? We stuff. You know, I always like to point out myself to protect clients too, unless I have their approval. But like myself, I sought approval in people because my parents didn't. They only, and I saw it praise out in any way possible, but I wanted to be behind the scenes, but I didn't want to be recognized, but I did want to be recognized. So many of you guys are like that too. And because my parents, they were emotionally and sometimes physically unavailable. Everything depended on their feelings and what they did at work that day. So the only times that they saw me, I'll put that in air quotes here, like the only times they saw me is when I was doing what they told me to, I was getting good grades, and I was performing well in my piano lessons. I wanted to do sports more than piano. I love playing piano. I have one, you guys know this. But they wanted me to do that because that's what they wanted. Okay? And I think we all want a lot for our kids, but we have to encourage them in what they want to do and what we see they're gifted at. Yes, drive them towards those things, explain those things towards that to them. Okay? But what happened was when I won't go into my story, we'll not do that. But like, here's another example. I've got a client and he did things differently. He wanted to be seen in a different way. So what he did was he ended up doing things bad, right? He was getting in trouble in school. He got sent to another school. A lot of places called them like Central or something like that, where it was like that's where the bad kids went. Ended up getting in trouble with police. When he was working, he was doing things behind the scenes and trying to take shortcuts, all that type of stuff, okay? And he would purposely, he's incredibly intelligent, by the way, purposely did poorly in school so he would get some kind of attention from his parents, because his parents were also emotionally unavailable, and they were also divorced and having the fights and stuff like that. So the way that he got noticed and the way his parents were able to work together was when he got in trouble, okay? And he's in sales. I actually work with a lot of salespeople now that I'm thinking about it. He was in sales. And so he was like, okay, I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be obnoxious. And that's how I'm going to get noticed and seen in the world. And that's not right. But when we started to uncover those things, he was like, oh, wow. I guess that's why I do things, is because of this. And then you just start to just tweak some things a little bit, and then you're good. But now these are just some examples, guys, but I want to encourage you to get on a free call with me to review what's keeping you stuck and repeating those same behaviors. And y'all blame it on the company, and you blame it on the toxic work environment, and you blame it on whatever, the people that you're working with. Some of that, it's usually a small percentage. We work with people, guys, okay? You're not going to get away from that. So you have to learn how you react to those people and how you react to those environments. You may be placed in a company, in an environment around people that challenge you, that frustrate you, so that you can change. You ever think about that? Okay? That's why we do focused research on ourselves. Because you might be job hopping every couple years because you're like, oh, these people stink and I'm not getting paid what I'm worth and blah, blah, blah. And it's my manager and it's blah, blah, blah. And it's politics and blah, blah, blah. Y'all, that's everywhere. That is everywhere. Okay? So what are you going to do to change that? Not push your way. You're going to understand who you are first. Why you do what you do. Maybe you just have all kinds of physical health issues. Maybe you're holding pain and trauma in your hips and in your neck. And all that stuff, okay? And you're blaming everyone else when you haven't done the hard, deep work of you first, okay? It's going to catch up with you. And if you're like, no, Vanessa, no, it's going to catch up with you. I have a lot of clients in their 50s who are like, I'm done. I'm toast. Like, my health sucks now, mental, physical, emotional. I can't even move. I'm in freeze states. I'm past the survival stuff. I'm frozen. Okay? Don't let it get to that point. Let's start now. Anyways, so that's what you need to do, is get on a call. It's in the show notes, okay? Get on that link. It's free. It's no obligation, okay? I'm going to tell you what you need to know. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. And then we're going to work out it together and do it, okay? So that's 2A, is doing that research on yourself, okay? 2B, this is what y'all are waiting for. You're like, okay, Vanessa, yeah, I don't want to do the research on myself. I don't have time for that, blah, blah, blah. Just tell me what I have to do now. Well, here's what you have to do now, okay? Before I tell you that, I'm going to remind you that 2A actually is the first step. I know I'm doing things out of order. Get used to that with me, okay? You're going to think you're supposed to do one thing first, but you're actually not, okay? I'm going to lead you down a different path here. And that's not on purpose. I mean, it is on purpose. But, so 2A is literally the first one. Then 1 is the second one. This one is the third one. This is the last one, the strategic part. If you guys have been following me, we work on mental, emotional, physical, then strategic. And the first 3 kind of all meld together. And once you have a handle on this, the first 3, the strategic one is so easy and so fast. And it gets you into your career, into the job that you've wanted. Okay? So 2B is doing research on companies that are not hiring. You're like, why would I do that? Why am I going to try to work for a company that's not hiring? Guys, they're all hiring all the time. Okay? And I say that because it's true. Okay? Back in the days, let's think. A lot of you guys are old enough to remember this, like the 1980s, early 2000s. How did we know a company was hiring? We got the yellow pages or the newspaper out and we went to the classified area, right? We called companies. Hey, I have plumbing expertise. I just graduated. You're a plumbing company. I want to come do an apprenticeship with you. Hey, I'm a 16-year-old. My parents asked me to find a job. I'm going to go work at a pizza place, right? Or you were dining at a pizza place and you're like, oh, it says we're hiring. Let me go ask them what they're hiring for. Oh, I'll just take it, right? To get experience. Okay? We literally walked into companies. When this was actually past the 2000s. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my story because I think a lot of you haven't heard in a while. I have never applied to a job and gotten a job through the application process that's been out there for 50 plus years. Never. I've always walked in, displayed my personality, displayed who I am, not faked what I could do, but said, hey, like, this is what I can do. I have dined at your restaurants. I always use restaurants because we all eat them all the time. And guess what? This part of your process, I can help you with. It sucks. Okay? It sucks and I can help you. Let me be that help for you. I've walked into companies, sat there in the receptionist area waiting for managers to come down and be like, hi, I am Vanessa and I've done some research on you. Can I take you to lunch? Well, most of the time I don't pay. They do, but it got me in the door. Some companies would call me back. I had some companies fly me out to places just to talk to me. Okay, because I did the research on them. Okay, that's what this 2B is. Okay, you're going to go and you're going to find companies that you want to work for. Maybe they're competitors that you're like, oh man, I have a NDA with them, or like, I just know too much. I want to, but I don't. Maybe you have a friend who you're like, man, I like what they do, but their company's not hiring. Do the research on the company. If they're a public company, guess what? You're going to go online and all their earnings, everything is supposed to be online. You're going to listen to quarterly calls. You're going to check out YouTube videos of the presidents and all that type of stuff. You're going to learn so much about it. You're going deep. So many of you guys are casting this wide net and you're like, what am I going to do? Like no one's reaching out to me. Yeah, because you're not going deep. How do we build friendships, relationships? What do? We don't cast a wide net and hope someone falls in. We cast a narrow net and we go deep, right? We ask deeper questions. We uncover about who they are. So this is what you're doing with a company, is you're like, what is this company about? I'm going to go on their website. I'm going to check out their about page. What are they truly about? What do they stand for? Do they have any organizations that they support? Are they involved in their community? Go deep, guys, because then when you do get to talk to someone at the company, you have a lot to talk about. You can say, hey, you know what? I want to work for your company because you support this cause and I have longed to be a part of that type of cause. Okay? Maybe you're into foster care and that company puts money towards every month foster care kids or supports part of an organization or actually runs an organization on the side. Okay? You never know until you go deep. You guys are like, I've spent so many time on all these applications and blah, 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 blah. Great. Now, take a handful of companies, and I'm saying handful, five companies, okay? And go deep, okay? Really put the effort in there. And I guarantee you will find a job a heck of a lot faster. And you'll already know so much about the company. Guess what? You already know so much about it that your expertise, your skills will easily transfer to that company and you'll get onboarded very quickly because you already know a lot about the company. You already know a lot about their product, their services, the people, why they do what they do, their sales cycles maybe, their revenue cycles. Just a thought. Hey, it works. It has worked for every single one of my clients that has actually done what we said we're going to do. Okay? So that is that's the ultimate thing, guys. But you can't do that until you know who you are, right? You can't go jump into a company and try to fit in a job description. That's what you guys are trying to do when you fill out these applications. You're like, okay, do I have these set of 15 skills? Oh, I have like 13 of them. I think I can do this job. Like, I'm sorry, but at the end of our life, is that what God says? Is like, well, you had all these skills, but you didn't have this one. Like, sorry, can't get into heaven. Like, come on. Stop trying to fit into the bubble that everyone else is trying to fit into, okay? So, like I said, go deep, okay? You're going to seek out all that type of stuff. You're going to find out so much information. And then here's the kicker. Here's a little bonus tip. As you're going through that process, step back and say, how am I feeling in this process? Am I energized? Am I excited about this process? Am I truly excited about this process? Am I like, oh my gosh, I've spent hours doing this and I love this? If so, you're on the right path. If not, find another company, find another industry, take a break. Take a break. Heck, get on a call with me and be like, Vanessa, I'm stuck. Like, I don't have the energy. I am depressed because there's something else health-wise going on that you're going to have to uncover first. Like I said, what's the first step? Who you are. Who are you and why? Okay? And a lot of that is our physical, our emotional, our mental that I've talked about. Okay? So, all that being said, and my camera dropping, that never happens. So that'll be some fun for you guys to go back through. But think about this, okay? Are you ready now to go from that discouraged job seeker to being inspired? Are you excited to get started now in your real job search? Despite the economy and the so-called job market woes, people are still getting hired, guys, okay? I've created every position at any company I've ever worked for. Every single one of them. If I can do it with myself and I can do it with clients, you can do it too. But you're going to need a guide, okay? You've got to have a guide. You can't do all this yourself. You really can't. Take it from someone who has done it before and hundreds of times, okay? So if you want to go and dive deeper, okay, you want to understand who you need to be, which is yourself, not everyone else. You're not fitting in the job descriptions that they're putting in this little box, okay? That's just a part of what the company needs. They really need you. You're that missing puzzle piece that they've been searching for. Y'all know that one puzzle piece. You're like, oh my gosh, I need that puzzle piece. I need that puzzle. And then you find it. You're like, oh my gosh, I completed the puzzle. I completed this section. Oh my gosh, it's a miracle. It looks so beautiful, right? Maybe it's just me doing a puzzle. Oh well, I'll get excited about it. Okay, but you're that missing puzzle piece. So if you want that, okay, get on that no obligation call with me. It's free, okay? I do have a paid hour, my power hour, where we go through and we say, here is your strategy. Do it, okay? If you want that too, I will put those both in the show notes so you have them available to you, okay? But remember, you are created to be you. You have so many gifts, you have talents, you have a personality and a story to share with this world, okay? Don't hold it back by trying to fit into the mold of this world. Be a shining light, okay? And that puzzle piece that the next company needs, okay? It's the next chapter in your story, all right? So that's what I do. As I've said before, it's a step-by-step process to walk you through. You can get on the call with me. You can follow me on social media. You can download my survival guide or get out of survival mode guide that I have in the show notes as well. You can do the power hour, but don't do nothing. Okay? I hate to see gifts and talents and personalities wasted because someone's afraid to take action. Take some kind of action today. I'm here to strengthen you. I'm here to set you on the path to be doing and being all you were created to, with the right mental, emotional, physical, and strategic health. Okay, so until next time, let's keep on designing the next you.